Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about 10 mythical creatures that existed in real life. But before we get into today's video, to those who are new to this channel, please feel free to click on the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you would be notified about the latest updates. So without any delay, let's get right into the video. Surprisingly, many of those stories are actually real even though they may be exaggerated. Mermaids exist. Christopher Columbus even spotted 3 during his first trip to America. He described them as not so beautiful as they are said to be, for their faces had some masculine traits. The creatures that we call mermaids are actually manatees and their closely related cousins, dugongs. Dire wolves were real animals, which went extinct around 9,500 years ago when the last major ice age came to an end. Dire wolves weren't gigantic monsters, but they were big animals. Most specimens that have been studied show the dire wolf to be about the same size as modern gray wolves. They weighed around 132 pounds, which is 60 kilograms, and were capable predators. Their teeth were larger and had a better shearing ability than their modern cousins. They had the strongest bite force at the point of the canine of all canis species. This made it possible for them to prey on horses, camels, mastodon, bison, and humans living during the Ice Age. It's likely tales of their ferocity gave life to the mythological abilities of the animal, which persist today. The kraken is probably the most fearsome sea monster ever imagined. According to sailors of old, it is a huge, octopus-like creature with a fondness for sinking ships and eating its crew. Legend says the kraken attacked and sank ships with its strong arms. If it was unsuccessful, it started swimming in circles until it created a whirlpool that sunk the ship. The so-called kraken is actually the giant squid, which is huge but considerably smaller and less violent than sailors claimed. There are no accounts that it ever attacked or sank a ship or is even powerful enough to sink one. The kraken moved from folklore to reality when the remains of a giant squid was found on a shore in Denmark in 1853. Curiously, the giant squid is as elusive as the legend it inspired. It lives so deep underwater that we have limited information about it. However, we know it has the largest eyes of all living creatures, grows up to 18 meters, and is frequently hunted by sperm whales for food. The weaker giant squid generally flees when confronted by a whale. However, it sometimes fights back when cornered, and it is not unusual to find sperm whales with scars left from their battles with giant squids. The rock as it has been described didn't likely exist, but there are analogues in the fossil record, which could easily have given birth to the myth. One such creature was the elephant bird of Madagascar, though the myth could have easily been born by sailors' accounts of large eagles capable of carrying off newborns' lamb. Like most of the mythological creatures on this list, the griffin may have been the product of early dinosaur fossil finds. Adrienne Mayer of Stanford University posited that Scythian nomads of Central Asia may have discovered fossils of Protoceratops, which likely gave them the impression of an ancient flying beast. Protoceratops weren't avian dinosaurs, but if people unfamiliar with dinosaurs discovered their bones thousands of years ago, it makes sense that the myth of the griffin would soon follow. The skull has a beak-like snout, which appears bird-like, and the creature was about the same size as a lion. Unicorns were not horses but rhinoceroses. That is, if the extinct Siberian unicorn is really the origin of the unicorn myth. Like the unicorn it may have inspired, the Siberian unicorn walked on 4 legs and had a huge horn in the middle of its head. However, Unlike the unicorn, the rhino was bigger, stronger and probably meaner. For perspective, it weighed 4 tons. The Siberian unicorn lived in Eurasia until it went extinct around 39,000 years ago. The Himalaya people of Nepal and China have traditionally talked about the existence of a big and hairy 6-foot-tall creature they call the Yeti. The existence of this mythical and elusive creature only became widespread knowledge in 1921 when some British explorers claimed to have found its footprints while climbing the Everest. The explorers said their local guides called them Mitokangmi, man-bear snowman. However, Henry Newman, the journalist who interviewed the group, mistranslated Mito as filthy instead of man-bear. He later changed filthy to abominable because it sounded better. That was how the Yeti got its more common name, the abominable snowman. The Yeti is actually the Himalayan brown and black bears, 2 real subspecies of bears that live in the Himalayas. Like the Yeti, both bears are big, hairy and brown. DNA tests have proven that most of the hair, skin, teeth, fur and feces that supposedly belong to the Yeti actually belong to these bears. There isn't a scholarly consensus regarding how cultures all over the world came up with dragons, but there are theories suggesting ancient people found dinosaur fossils, and they were the inspiration for these gigantic beasts. Of course, it didn't necessarily have to be extinct dinosaurs that provided the inspiration for these mythical creatures. The bones of misunderstood fauna that were extant at the time could have led to similar conclusions. There are contemporary animals that could also have served as a source for dragon inspiration, such as the Komodo dragon, iguanas, alligators, Gila monsters, and other large reptiles. While there is no such creature in the fossil record, there is something similar called the Titanoboa. Titanoboa was the largest snake to ever slither across the ground, and various specimens have been found, indicating they could grow up to 42 feet, 12.8 meters, in length and weigh as much as 2,500 pounds, 1,135 kilograms. It's highly unlikely anyone in Korea would have ever seen the bones of a Titanoboa, as the creature's range was throughout the rainforests of what is now South America. They died out around 58 million years ago, so the comparison between the myth and reality is entirely coincidental. Like most dragon myths, the emoji likely arose from ancient people who found bones belonging to extinct species. Korean findings that gave rise to the myth of dragons likely came from marine reptiles or dinosaur fossils. Additionally, tall tales spread about creatures like emoji until they explode into mythological beasts. The sea serpent is another ferocious creature believed to patrol the ocean. Seafarers of old told elaborate stories of its existence so much that it became folklore. The creature, as you may have guessed from its name, is a supposedly monstrous fish-snake hybrid. Like the kraken, the sea serpent really exists even though its features and stories are heavily exaggerated. For a start, the supposed sea serpent is actually an oarfish, which really looks like a fish-snake hybrid. But that is where their similarities end. The oarfish is much smaller even though it is considerably long for a fish. It reaches up to 30 feet in length, making it the longest bony fish in existence. Okay guys, that is all for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to receive the latest update from my channel. See you soon in another interesting video. Bye.